Good evening, fellow heretics, and welcome to tonight's show. I am your host, Captain Dadpool.
I'm Natty Nat, and this is Baphometal.
Our special guest co-host for tonight. And you are watching Nerds and Heresy.
Hold on to your butts.
All right, we are joined tonight by Mandisa Thomas, the president of Black Nonbelievers. Mandisa, do you want to take a couple minutes to introduce yourself and tell everyone where they can find you?
Sure, why not? Thank y'all so much for having me on your show this evening. It is a pleasure to be here. And it is great to see y'all again. I mean, we just saw each other last weekend. We met for the first time, and it was great, really great meeting y'all. So for those of you who aren't aware, after the whole shitstorm this week, I am Mandisa Thomas, and I am the founder and president of Black Nonbelievers Incorporated, which is headquartered in the Atlanta, Georgia area. I am originally a New York City native, but I have been in Georgia for over 25 years, so over half my life.
Wow.
And our organization focuses on community building and advocacy for Black folks who are either fully atheists, humanists, non-religious, etc., or questioning their religious beliefs in favor of leaving. And we host a number of events. We have a number of programs, and we do a number of collaborations. And we've been doing this for 11 years, not 10, 11. And for those who want to learn more about us, you can visit our website first and foremost at blacknonbelievers.org. And you can find all of our social media platforms, including Twitter.
I mean, you only have 6,700 followers, so
I mean, right. So that I'm not doing shit right. I'm not doing my job if after 10 years I only have 6,700 followers on Twitter. So, but
it's
yes.
almost like, never mind. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying that, we have been I appreciate the work that we've been doing and all of the connections that we've made, all the people that we've helped, because that is what it is really about. And so I encourage people to visit our website and learn more about us. And please do follow us on social media to stay updated.
Very good. Yeah, so I guess to get the conversation started, from what I understand, being a Black non-believer is not really a thing in the Black community. Like, if you grew up in the Black community, it was just, you were assumed to be a Christian.
Exactly.
So like being an atheist as a Black person is like y'all have it much worse than even we do as white people. Is that right?
Yeah, so there are a number of factors here that I think are important to discuss. So yes, the Black atheist demographic is still smaller in comparison to the religious, to Black folks who are religious. And so there are a number of institutional reasons for that. And you can't ignore that. You cannot ignore the historical and institutional factors as to why religion impacts more people of color in particular, and especially Black communities. So having been raised very pro-Black, very Afrocentric, I learned that there were always Black folks who challenged religion and who always thought, well, there's something wrong with this. Unfortunately, yes, due to the overwhelming presence of religion in the Black community, it does make the presence of atheists a bit more obscure and scarce.
Mm-hmm.
And it also makes it more challenging for those questioning those beliefs, or even those who are atheists, to find others. And it's not that we were never out here, but the mechanism of how of finding us, especially in person, and even knowing how to go about doing so. The institutional factors and the culture of the community, which was mentioned, it's those do play huge roles, and I really appreciate American Atheists partnering with us on the Black Non-Religious Americans report that was released last year, which does show that the Black atheist demographic does deal with higher rates of concealment, some higher rates of depression, and which basically shows that it is indeed more challenging to openly identify as an atheist, humanist, non-religious, etc., if you are Black.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Was this a report that was published like on some sort of platform or magazine or?
Yes, so
where was it?
You can find it at secularsurvey.org, and and you can also find it on the American Atheist website, atheist.org.
Okay.
And look for the Black Non-Religious Americans report. I should, I'll get that link and share it in the chat if you'd like.
I'd love that. That would be very sweet. I'm sorry. I like reading things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to have access.
It's a very comprehensive report.
Wonderful.
And it was based on the U.S. Secular Survey that was conducted in 2019. And they were only looking for about maybe 8,000 participants, and they ended up getting like 20,000 people.
Wow.
So yeah, and data is important. That is important. And then we also look at Pew Research as well, which released studies in 2021 recently, which showed that that's the reality check. That's just the non-religious report altogether. If you go to the website, you should be able to find. I can find that for you.
Yeah, if you post that, I'll share it.
That's awesome.
So we can all see it.
Yes, because it is very, very important to understand what this means, especially for our community, and as we see things changing as well. So, these are aspects that should be better understood, especially for a community that is talking about wanting to be more diverse, wanting to be more welcoming. And how do we do that, right? So better understanding what that means for certain demographics is very important. Yeah. And yes, we do have an uphill battle when it comes to open identification, actually organizing as a demographic, and and also the microaggressions that we deal with within the community.
Yep.
And so these are we have just so many things coming at us. But in spite of that, myself and many others felt that it was important to take this on and help build an organization and communities for people who needed us. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I also want to just point out that like the Black Nonbelievers, the booth, I guess that's the word for it, booth table. You guys were the most active table amongst all of the all of the different booths that were at the site. It was so hard to walk by you and not be wondering like, what are they up to now? What are they throwing at people? I'm so curious. Like there's always something interesting going on over there. So it was so much fun.
So what was great about that, and actually, if you go to the resources tab of our website, you could pull up the Black. Yes, that is a Black Non-Religious report. Yep, you can pull that up. And so what Atlanta is our home turf, which is of course we had to represent at the convention.
Of course.
And I will say that I attended my first American Atheist convention in 2011. And I was blown away at seeing so many people. Yes, there's a webinar there if people would like to see that, if people would like to look at that, and we did a presentation on it, helping to understand what the mental health aspect of leaving religion as a member of the Black community. I mean, there's so much to unpack there that goes well beyond just
I can imagine
leaving God, what that means for, you know, the Black identity. There's so much that, I mean, I remember a few years ago, there was a Black woman who approached me at a conference here in Atlanta. And there's still, the video footage I think is still up because it was the Atheist Alliance of America's conference. And there was also a Women of Color in Ministries conference and also another multi-level marketing conference that was taking place at the same time. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And
well, that's a nice comment right there.
yes,
it, yeah.
yes. Thank you so much. I mean, so the people who find us, the people we connect with, that's who's important to us. Because, you know, we know that
Tyler.
Hey. But this woman, I mean, we actually had some really good conversations with some of the people there. But this one woman on the last day was just so angry. I mean, she just couldn't. I mean, and she said it, like she was giving me the stank face and everything. And I was trying to be professional with her, but eventually it escalated. And she was just saying that she could not believe that as a Black woman, I had the nerve to identify as atheist in front of these white devils. She said I had a slave mentality.
Whoa.
And so when I tell you, people have been coming at me for a very long time. Yeah. And so several people started recording because they thought that they were going to have to turn her into security or report her to security. So
thank you so much for the super sticker.
So yeah. So I mean, we have had, you know, we have had some very, very interesting engagement. And that's what we want, right? We want more Black folks to know that we're here. Whether they are atheists or religious, because that is, you know, people need to know that, again, not just that we exist, but there are more of us out here.
Do you have an online community of any kind?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a really, really active Facebook group.
Oh, nice.
It is closed. It's a I mean, you can find it if you type it in. But yeah, I hear it as well. So yeah, so we are very, very active there. We've been active there since day one. You know, sometimes we just shoot the shit. Sometimes we, you know, post a lot of, you know, sometimes we, you know, we make fun of religion, but then there are people there in our groups, in that particular group, that they look for advice about how to handle family members and certain life situations. Because it, you know, that, yes, that is our Facebook,
that is our Facebook
page. That is our public page. So we do have a Facebook group called Black Nonbelievers, but that's our public page, or what would used to be called a fan page.
Oh, okay.
But yes, if you type in Black Nonbelievers, you can find the closed Facebook group as well. Gotcha. And we're very, very, and it's interesting because speaking of numbers, there are some Black atheist groups that have larger numbers, but we're very, very deliberate on curating that space because we want it to be affirming. We want it to be welcoming. Mm-hmm. We want it to be where people are having objective, conversations and not just, and not just arguing with each other all day long. We want it to be a space. And then we also want it to be a space where people know that we are actually doing things on the ground. You know, we're not just simply sitting online discussing or bashing religion. Mm-hmm. We really are about that in person and also direct and supportive engagement. And so we're very, very careful about who we let into the space. And I can say, I mean, some people might call it strict, but I'm like, the moment if you fuck up real bad, then you got to go. So it's never a thing straight where up. we just allow arguing for the sake of arguing. I mean, there are some groups that like to do that, but I'm like, that's not us. Because as an organization that is really looking to help increase, we would like to help increase the number of openly identified people of color, especially Black atheists and Black non-believers.
Right.
We can't do that if everyone is just simply arguing all day long and but it's a very active space. I mean, it is great. People enjoy it. And we are welcoming to everyone. So, that is something that I take very seriously, and those who work with us take very seriously too.
All right, very good.
Is the echo gone? I just want to check on
Yes,
that.
it
Okay,
is.
that was totally me. My computer is a little bit grumpy at me right now.
I didn't even hear an echo.
Oh yeah, I heard an echo.
I heard it right at the last second, and I was like, oh shit, mute.
I'm the only one not wearing headphones, so maybe it's my fault.
It's all your fault.
It was my fault. Now
Probably.
it's not your fault.
Probably.
Well,
Besides, BA was a dumpster fire. I am sorry.
I was gonna say, I like that you said that you guys are very careful with who you let in and all that. I mean, it makes sense. You want a safe space, right? You don't want just what everybody else has already. You want your own space. That's what you need. So you gotta be selective, right?
Right. And also too, you realize that in certain spaces the conversations are different, right? So
Oh yeah.
In a predominantly Black space, the conversations about racial, about racial justice, racism, and such are going to be different.
Right.
And they are going to be probably more detailed, of course, because we are the ones who historically our people have experienced it. So the conversation will be different. The people that we promote will be different, and not different in a bad way, but you understand the perspectives from the people who experience it a lot more. So and that isn't to say, and that's funny because I don't even think during the talk I said that we couldn't learn anything from white people. I don't even think I said that, right? So
is that one
I know
of
we're
the
going to get
tweets?
into the talk, huh?
I'm sorry. Is that what I'm so out of the Twitter verse? Was that one of the responses he had on the tweets? Is that
No, in the video. So right. But when it comes to yes, certain spaces, there are certain things that certain folks can relate to better that I think people don't have the right to be dismissive about them. If there are spaces for younger people, spaces for people of a certain age, folks who are LGBTQ plus, trans, those are certain those are spaces where people, I mean, you can regroup, you can connect, you can commiserate, you can sometimes you want to say fuck these people, right? But it's okay for us to do that at times.
Right.
So there's nothing wrong with us having these spaces and then coming together. It's that phrase like walking, being able to walk and chew gum. There's nothing wrong with that. And we found that there are a number of Black folks who are in other spaces and who are doing just that. Their Blackness is not, it isn't negated because they are in predominantly white spaces. So these are things that that we have to talk about as well, what it means to have the Black experience, and unfortunately how most of the Black experience is perceived as being involved in church or in some sort of religion, and which can be very polarizing for a number of us. And so unpacking that really does take it really takes having a space that that is run by Black folks, that is mostly for Black folks to understand. And so yeah, I mean, I hope I'm not tripping over my words at all, but yeah, I think, I mean, there is nothing wrong with having those spaces particularly for people who have said experiences, and you will notice that there is a difference in there is a difference in the content, there's a difference in the subject matter, and that is something that that other people can learn from.
That's a big criticism I got. Like after delivering my speech, I had other atheists like come after me on Twitter and was like, you were too harsh towards Christians. Like, we need to build bridges, not walls. And I was like, good thing there weren't any Christians in the audience.
Right.
Like, this is a safe space, and I
Right.
hate that term,
Right.
Right,
but
right.
it is what it is.
Right.
This is a space where I can really express my emotions, my trauma, if you will,
Right.
on the topic in front of people who can relate. I don't have
Exactly.
to filter myself. I can just say, fuck your God, fuck your religion. This
Yeah.
is you're fucking
There's-
stupid. Like,
there's
I
a
can just
time and a
let it
place for
all
that.
out.
It's
man.
therapeutic to be able
There's
to have
a-
a
It
community
is.
where you can do that.
But
You
like,
know.
still, other atheists were like, you should be nicer to Christians when you say that. Like, I wasn't talking to
I mean,
Christians, was
right.
I?
Right. No, I mean,
You know?
Well,
no,
look
yeah.
where we are right now in history by being respectful of their beliefs. I mean, where have we gotten this whole time, right? By respecting and giving them that power this whole time. This is where we are right now. And now
Yeah.
we still have to walk on
Walk
eggshells.
on-
No, fuck no.
right.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had
I'm
enough of
This
this.
is where it gets but this is where it gets complicated, doesn't it? Like, we need to be able to
Right.
speak
Oh,
up,
yeah.
but we need to be able to do it in a way that doesn't look like we're not taking anything away from them. Let's be
Right.
completely honest with this.
So-
They have overstepped their bounds for way too long.
Mhm.
What we're doing is evening out the playing field, and they don't like
Yeah.
it when we start setting boundaries for ourselves. This
So,
is exactly
yeah.
what it's like when it's a personal relationship versus like a community relationship. It's just
Right.
it's like, hi, I'm no longer comfortable with you coming in and kissing me on the cheek when I don't know you. Like, please don't do that
Right.
anymore. I
And
would like you to
yes.
stop.
Yeah.
And then
Just
they
to be
get
clear-
insulted by me saying that to,
Yeah.
like, say a white guy.
And,
Mhm.
and just to be clear, really quick, I wasn't saying let's disrespect Christians like person to
no.
person. I'm talking
Right.
about I'm talking about the belief system
Yeah,
itself. Yeah, you
absolutely.
know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
tact is
Let's-
tact is important, and tact doesn't
For
always
sure.
mean you have to be nice,
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
or what is considered nice, because I mean, there are going to be some people who feel like, well, if you're talking to Christians like that, that means you're talking to them. There are some people who we can understand, the sensitivity aspect, but also understand what having come out of those beliefs and is seeing what some believers have done how that has impacted us. And I think it's important that, that the privilege of being a Christian goes away. That this idea that, that we are not allowed to exist and be ourselves because, well, we don't want to offend them.
He's insulting not one but two things right now. Both Jesus and the rocks.
Right.
Rocks don't want to be your Jesus either. Okay.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh, man.
Tyler?
So, yeah, no, I totally get. I mean, there's a time and a place. I try to choose my battles wisely, but
Yeah.
and so of course, if I'm in conversation with a Christian and it's respectful, then I'm not just going to go all ham on
Of course.
your religion is bullshit. But now, if you're coming at me in a way that is disrespectful,
You
then
best be ready
then
to
all
throw
bets are
hands.
off. Right? Yeah.
How do you
absolutely.
How do you feel about it when Christians, anyone of any sort of non-secular religion or belief system comes at us and is like, well, why the fuck would you gather with these people if it's an entire thing based off of not having a belief?
Dude.
Like,
ugh.
That's very
I see
interesting.
that.
When I
it's
hear
such a
that.
weird, like, is a sense of community not allowed for people that don't?
Apparently not, right?
Like, is that not
we're
acceptable?
They're the only ones that can have
Talking
a-
about safe space, like, this is fucked up. I'm sorry, I just
yeah.
This is one of my-
and
I've had to deal with that a lot
This
this week from my own family. They're just like, well, why do you
Right.
go? You don't need to meet with these people.
Like,
You have a
yes, we-
family. I'm like, yes, but can I tell you about how I don't like these things and these things about the religion? They're just like, no, we just keep that on the inside. And I was like, yes, so that I can get all off myself later because I can't fucking find a place to release all of my tension. Sorry, not encouraging anyone to do that. I'm just saying, like, just fucking it sucks when you don't have that community. And
Exactly. And this is one of the reasons, and that's where the privilege and not necessarily willful ignorance, but that is where that comes in, because when people think of, atheists, there's still such a negative connotation to us that, our existence is is just very, very, it's diminished even more.
Hey,
And
J
it
Mike.
also
Hey, Mike.
dehumanizes us to the point where they feel like, well, we're not supposed to have feelings. We're not supposed to care about other people. We're not supposed to want to meet new people. We're not supposed to want to have community. It's
But
like,
murder's
No.
okay. But it's
right,
okay.
yeah.
No.
Right. I'm like, I love the whole baby eating thing. I know that's maybe not a thing anymore, but I actually envisioned one time actually making a makeshift spit and putting one of my sons on it to say, hey,
Wow.
but
Okay, so how fucked up would it be if I said I do know a few bakers that would probably make cakes of like dead babies if we wanted them at the next
Oh, I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Dude.
one of them is the wife of a
That's
gentleman
amazing.
that's watching right now.
wow.
I don't know if she'd make it bloody, but she might do something if I
I mean,
beg and
some
pleaded.
people, I would prefer a happier type of cake, but
We'll just
I
have
wouldn't-
we'll
I
just
wouldn't
have an
hate on
empty
it.
cradle.
I wouldn't hate
Bath
on
isn't
that at
even a
all.
real boy.
It's just-
You're not a real boy.
yeah.
I'm a
That's
real
like-
boy.
That's like my
I'm a
thing,
No.
though.
Peruvian boy.
Like,
Okay,
like we,
I've been told no, we can't get her to make a cake.
like,
come
like we were all
on.
there, and like a bunch of evangelicals came in and tried to like force anoint Jesus and like do all that shit. And it's like for many of us, myself included, now that we're home, I am surrounded by those fucking people.
Yeah.
That those are my neighbors. They across the street, over there.
Mhm.
That's who I live around. So like even like one weekend a fucking year where we can be around like-minded people, that's even too much. We're gonna have fucking Christians come in and force their way into the hotel where we're staying. And call
Right.
like
Yep.
really?
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah.
you're the persecuted ones, motherfucker. Like really? You're the ones that are being persecuted right now.
Right. Oh, look, the pamphlet. Isn't
I
that
got
lovely?
this in the mail
Okay.
yesterday.
Ugh.
So now the
you got
J-Dubs
one.
are sending them via mail now.
Oh, you know
Yeah,
what I
'cause
never
COVID.
did? You
Yeah.
know what I never fucking did? I never talked about this. Oh, hold on. That's not the right one. I
Oh,
never
God.
talked about the handwritten note that I received from the JWs a few months
Oh, I got
back.
one too.
Yeah.
A handwritten note and like the pamphlet and everything.
I had
Yes.
something like
The
that too.
Watchtower showed up and like they had my address and everything. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
really
so-
fucked up. I was like, I was gonna make a TikTok regarding that, and then
I had
just
a
never fucking
full-on
did it.
conversation with one of them. I brought him in. I invited them into my house
No way.
because like one was like a
Mm.
guy and like his like girlfriend or wife or whatever was like it was like a cold day, and she was like bundled up in a blanket, and he was like trying to preach. He was like, "Do y'all want to come in because she looks really fucking cold? So come in here and like you can do your spiel, but like she does not look like she's having very much fun right now. So come in here and yeah, give me the spiel."
How did it go?
It went well. They were KJV only.
Oh.
So I pulled out.
KJV gang.
Where was it? Oh shit! I had a button. So I pulled out
hit
this
a
book
button.
that has like, photocopies of like the Old Testament manuscripts. And I was like, the King James Version is incredibly outdated. We've discovered new manuscripts that are dated to much older that were reused to make the King James Bible. So the King James Bible is the worst fucking version. If you're going to be a Christian, cool, but don't use the King James. It's the worst. And like this guy was like he was like, I don't know. My grandparents used the King James, so that's what I use.
Still not the same
I was like,
version.
"Oh, your
Da, da, da,
grandparents."
da.
Yeah.
No.
No, no.
Sorry, just
Like, you gotta stay on top of this shit. All right.
I'm sorry, we kind of got sidetracked on that, but
Yeah,
yeah, like,
sorry. I'm sorry.
I become very impatient with the folks who come to the house proselytizing.
mhm.
I get very, very irritated. I think the last time Jehovah's Witnesses came to our door, one of the ladies, they had a car and they parked in our driveway. And I had
What?
to get ready to go somewhere. I had to get ready to leave. And I was like, why the fuck are you in my driveway? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have issues with my back. I wanted to say, well, tell your fucking God to fix it. But
Mm.
it was,
Mm.
yeah.
We have to
Boom.
go. We have to, because if we do that, all we're do is give them the reason. Like that's like the
Right.
13
Even
fucking
though they
reason. That's
came
it.
to our house
Yeah.
unannounced,
Sorry.
trying
Yeah.
to spread the word or witness. And
Failures, a lot of them.
yeah.
Thank you, Morgan, for this lovely statement. Jehovah Witnesses, failures, the lot of them. Did you not see that? It was fucking amazing.
So I had, and this was a while ago. I had some Jehovah's Witnesses come to my door, and Jehovah's Witnesses like to talk all about the Greek, right? I actually know Greek.
Shit.
Are you done? Can I talk?
Sorry, did you see?
Jesus,
Did
Nat.
you see what Morgan commented after that?
No, what do you say?
Because Jehovah, in fact, begins with an I.
Well, that's accurate.
It is accurate, but it's also,
It is accurate.
but it's also, it's also Indiana Jones. Because fucking
I
archaeology.
mean, I think it was a
never mind.
Y
I'm sorry.
first, and then it became an I and then a J. But anyway, so Jehovah's Witnesses they're all about the Greek. Oh, if you go back in the Greek, it says this. So one day I was like, oh, you know Greek. What's the Greek alphabet? They don't know it. I do. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, zeta, theta, iota. I could tell you the Greek alphabet. They didn't know it. So I was like, okay, so if you want to preach to me about what the Greek says, you need to at least know what the Greek alphabet is. Come back another day. Thank you. Bye.
I think I've told you this before as well. I've had Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses all come to my door at some point in time, and we used to have a deal where, like, in the summer, not like in the winter, we're just like, fuck it, they can leave. And did I just freeze?
No, you're fine.
Okay, just making sure. Like my camera looked like it was freezing. But in the summer, we would say, okay, here's 2 rules. 1, we will give you free lemonade and you can come inside the air conditioning for a hot minute because we know you're hot as fuck out there. 2, if we give you this free lemonade, the moment you talk about Christ or any sort of biblical thing, you have to leave. This was our deal. It's like, you are welcome into the home until you decide that you want to disrespect our rules, and then you can leave. And you know what? We did this with about 4 or 5 different groups or like little pairs of people, and only one of them ever fucked up and was like, so do you want to hear about our Lord and Savior? And like the dude that was next to him was like, no, shut up, we're finally sitting down inside air conditioning. Like, you could see the look in his eyes, like he was like, you are dead to me.
Wow.
And this is the part that people need to understand, right? So many people have lived their lives in a bubble that when you go into other people's spaces, it does not belong. That is not the place for you to do that. And so it's up to you to adjust. You cannot just go into either folks' houses or in other folks' spaces, just simply thinking that it's all about you and that you center yourself. And this is what we also talk about addressing in our community as well. Understanding the nuances of that. And the very same way, we don't, we have to, in a way, I wouldn't say train our religious friends, but, they need to be better, need to better understand. Like, look,
planting seeds.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so religion gives you that moral superiority complex, right?
Yes.
Like you have
Thank
that
you so
entitlement.
much for that super chat.
Thank you, Anton. That's amazing.
The Greek letter, that is a squiggle.
What is a squiggle?
There's a lot of Greek letters that you could describe as being a squiggle. There's epsilon, there's lambda, there's
Lambda's like
sigma, epsilon.
Actually, no, I would expect sigma to be the one because he's saying like the zigzag squiggle, right? Sigma would be the squiggle.
Probably.
Anyway, we got sidetracked. Go Go on,
No,
Beth.
no, what I was saying really quick was that, like I said, it gives you this moral superiority complex, this moral high ground, this entitlement that you can just walk into people's spaces and just do whatever you want. Like,
Right.
and symbolically, but also literally, like you said, somebody fucking parking in your driveway. Like, bro, they feel entitled. They feel like they're able to do that with just because they're here with the word of God. So therefore, I can do whatever I want.
Right.
Okay, final
And
answer. Zeta is the squiggle.
Zeta.
It's the word for. It's the letter for Z. Zeta. Or possibly C, which is X.
I'm sorry. I'm just
It also
like
looks
trying
like a
to.
squiggle.
This is not sign language.
Sorry.
I love the interpretive dance over there.
It's not a dance. It's translation.
on
Sorry,
a
Mandy.
Sunday
Sorry.
night, I love it.
I tried to tell you
beginning-
beforehand.
Mandisa,
We're
did
not
you think
professionals
I was
over here.
only that excited and like outgoing in person? Because it's not true.
Oh, I absolutely love it. I love people whose personalities match their online and in person. I actually like to, I mean, I think I'm pretty reserved on, I try to be reserved online, except when people come at me and then I have to say, fuck you, which I have no problem doing at times. But I absolutely love people whose personalities match, and that's why I love meeting. That's what I loved about meeting y'all, because I've met some content creators online that they were they're pretty lively there, but in person it's like, huh. Like, oh, okay.
Yes. I can actually name a few on my hands just of like who they are. In person versus online. It's like, oh, you're not the same person I thought you were. Granted, a lot of people do put an entire different image online to try and portray themselves, but there are definitely some people out there.
They're keyboard gangsters, and
keyboard gangsters.
Are we
Oh
okay?
my
I'm
God.
gonna drop a name. I'm gonna drop
Somebody
a
make
name.
that a sticker right now.
Keyboard gangsters, yo! What are they? The QWERTY gang, yo!
Sorry,
keep QWERTY gang. What?
I know one thing. I will say this: some of the folks who were commenting this week about me could never have walked through my neighborhood popping that shit.
Oh, dude.
They would have got knocked the
Like,
fuck
go
out.
in the fucking neighborhood and say that shit.
Right.
I'm gonna say something that is probably gonna get me in trouble, but when I went to school, I had a bunch of friends in my lower Chicago area. And I went to visit them one time because I was gonna go pick them up and we were gonna drive back to school. Like I was just gonna pick them up. I drove through the house and I was like, "Hey, I'm running late. It's like 6 p.m." There's like, "You better get to our house like now." Like I drive my happy, and you guys saw my Prius. I drive my happy ass to their place, and it is getting dark. And I get out and I'm just like glowing, right? Because I'm pale as shit. I walk into their house. We end up having dinner, and then I end up spending the night. Like they didn't want to get into my car and leave. It was one of those moments. But like as I was leaving the next morning, like it didn't even occur to me why I was invited. Like nothing occurred to me until we were on our way back to school, where I was like, "You guys are protecting me, weren't you?" Like this wasn't like it never, because that's the audacity I live with, and I had no fucking clue. And that was like that was a wake up moment for me. Granted, I was like 19, 20 at the time, so like young and in a sheltered bubble, despite not being Christian already, just still sheltered bubble. But yeah, no, white girl did not know what the fuck she was doing.
Yeah, so like I shared in my speech when I worked at a grocery store and I got shot. There was 2 black men that came in, and one of them shot me. But like I can recall when I'm getting a little deep here. Bear with me. In middle school, I had 2 black friends. They introduced me to Dragon Ball Z.
Nice.
and they introduced me to Super Smash Brothers.
Okay.
Right. So like, and I have very few memories of my childhood, very very few. But I have very vivid memories of them. I know their names. I can remember where they lived. I could drive there, and that's you. So like, when I had this experience, I was like, okay, my where am I even going with this?
I'm
I don't
sorry
know.
to hear that you
I
were
don't know either.
shot. I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
awful for
surprise! He
anyone.
was shot,
My
but
point
not.
is like, I
You don't have to, I think, and allow me,
please.
you can take that experience and say, well, yeah, I don't hate all Black people because of
Yeah.
that.
It's like I have very fond memories of
Right.
my two Black friends when I was in middle school. I'm not gonna like this experience I had later on in life is not going to just overshadow those fond memories I had.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not gonna like. So people who are able to just be like, oh, all Black people are this, Black people are that. I'm like, no, fuck you, fuck
Yeah.
your couch. You,
What did the couch ever do?
the couch,
Darkness, everybody. Darkness.
darkness, darkness.
You have to know the Chappelle Show to know that reference.
This is Nerds and Heresy After Dark, y'all.
This is during dark.
Oh my god.
It's a
No,
little
this is Nerds
earlier
and
than we
Heresy
usually
going
hit.
dark. Fuck. This is. I need
Anyway,
more to drink.
all that to say is like, yeah,
Are you
Yeah,
okay?
there's still a lot of things
I'm
to
fine.
unpack, like societally,
Yeah.
and there are probably some prejudices and probably some projections that people have when it comes to
Bitches.
other folks.
I'm Rick James, bitch.
I can't breathe.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Let me stop.
I'm gonna take a moment. I'm gonna go get a refill. 'Cause
Yeah,
I need it.
I finished off my glass, so it's hitting me. So
This
sorry.
is what I love, though. I love when we are
Keep
able
going.
to do, have conversations like this. They're not super stuffy.
Right.
Everything is not like, and as much as we, as much as we pride ourselves, on evidence and education and such, and that's the point I was making too. It was interesting to see the comments that say, "Oh, she's anti-books," she doesn't think that she doesn't think books are important. I'm like, when did I ever say that?
So can we give a little context to the folks who are not
Sure.
aware of what exactly happened? Because we were talking about it before we started,
Yeah,
but then we started kind of picking out from there. But I think some people are not aware of what really happened.
sure.
Yeah, let's get into
Yes.
that.
Yeah, so go ahead. Yeah.
We'll get into yeah. So we all met. We were all at the American Atheist Convention last weekend. Which, for those of you who weren't there, it was amazing. We had a really good time here in Atlanta. And so all of the, the shitstorm that was on social media surrounded my talk, which was on how to address white supremacy in the secular community and do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the talks were not live streamed. They were video recorded, and they should be available at some point, in the very near future. But American Atheists and the American Humanist Association tweeted a couple of my slides, but the slide that American Atheists tweeted was the one where I said,
There it is.
10 ways you may be upholding white supremacy as a non-believer.
10 ways you may.
Right. And notice that, and during the talk, I basically said that, that of people of all stripes in this community, myself included, could be upholding white supremacy in some way without even realizing it, because it is so institutional that it becomes, it becomes a part of our being that we need to be, we need to be aware of that and how we can be better as a community rather than just repeating what the religious community does. So, that particular slide made a lot of people on social media upset.
Republican
And
atheists.
yeah, a lot of Republican.
White guy, white
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
white guy, white guy, white
Yeah,
guy, white
yeah,
guy.
they were-
Fucking white guy. It goes on and on.
Yeah.
Ooh, I should
Just the fucking saltine brigade. Like in these comments, y'all.
What
It
are
was
these?
extremely, apparently, there were some people's feelings who really,
See how
really
it
got
says
hurt by that.
a new woke religion. So they're saying that any mention of anything that has to do with social justice, with racial injustice, like the work that you do, Mandisa, that this is some type of woke religion, that we're all
Yeah.
social justice warriors, and that atheism should have nothing to do with this kind of material work, topic.
Have any of you
Blows my mind.
Have any of you had anyone attack you for using the term activist this past week? Because my family
I'm
has been
pretty
attacking me
sure,
about it.
Oh, no shit.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen that, but
When
I wouldn't doubt it.
One of the things, so Dave and I got to know each other really well this past weekend. I mean, like he and I hung out like every night, and Bev and we just connected every single day. And he was talking about things, and he wants to he likes the term activism. He wants us to be active in this is like in the community and everything. Just his final talk was incredible. Of course, I was crying my eyes out, but it's because I get emotional about shit like that. But I went home and I told my mom, it was just like, it was a great time. I had a blast. And she's like, so what did you do? And I was like, well, it's like a con. You go and you listen to people talk. You talk a little bit yourself. You do stuff. You get all hyped up for activism. And the moment she heard that word, she's like, activism? Are you going to be like going around churches and like protesting? And I'm just like, no. No, that's not what I mean. And she's like, well, what do you mean? And I was just like, well, I was going to try and support a lobbyist that's like talks about secular being like up in like DC and shit. And my mom's just like and my mom's the one that supports me on my atheism, and she's the one that has been attacking me the most about this. She's like, I was okay when you were like quiet.
Oh goodness. See?
I'm like,
that's the part right there.
Now that you're saying shit,
but now that I was
all
open
right.
about it, now that I've been posting things, now that I've been like working towards it. Yeah. So it's like I'm supposed to be a good example for my younger cousins and my stepsiblings. Like, what on earth would my stepdad say? Like, we said that you were going to a conference. We didn't say what the conference was. And I was like, you could have just told him it was a secular conference. You didn't have to say the word like atheist. I understand it was, but like, I mean, you could still put that down. And like, I'm just sitting here like, thanks, Mom. Sorry.
Hey,
so I've had a
Papa.
bit of a personal shit this fast. Hey. Yeah, a little bit of
Hey, what's going on?
Hello.
The godfather of
my mom
atheism.
doesn't know how to pound sand. I'm sorry. That's actually my father's job. He works at a
What?
My dad does sand fracking. Like he literally mines fracking sand. So pounding sand is hilarious to me when people are like, yeah, you can go fucking pound sand. I'm like, that's what my dad does.
Interesting.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah, so activism has a bad connotation, apparently.
Apparently, the term activism isn't
Speaking out.
good. Yeah, the fact that I'm not being quiet
Keep it to
anymore about it.
yourself.
Yeah.
Just keep it to yourself.
Right. Well,
I
I mean,
know.
that would also apply to the believers, right?
I know, right?
technically,
Weird
you're
how it
supposed
doesn't
to
go
be-
both ways.
Exactly. Right.
It's the same attitude they do towards the LGBTQ community, you know?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, oh yeah,
That was the other thing.
I support you, but I just don't like your lifestyle.
I don't want to be a part of it. It's like,
keep
who
it
was
to
inviting
yourself.
you? No one invited you to be a part of it, first off.
Exactly.
Secondly, that's not your fucking business anyway.
It's the
Sour
same
cream
shit.
team.
Yes, I absolutely love that.
No, it's a sour cream dream team.
I love it.
Sour cream dream. Oh,
No, but
Sour
that's what
cream
they were
team.
talking about with all the white guys who were complaining about.
Oh
the
yeah,
slide.
no,
oh,
yeah.
that's
not,
so
not
much
the,
better than the saltine brigade.
I love it.
Saltine Brigade and the sour cream team. Oh, this is amazing.
Sour
also,
cream team.
why?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
No,
it's
Can we
so,
make a T-shirt?
That's hilarious.
I'm writing this shit down.
So when I was at the panel and I recorded some video of myself with my phone on the table, I posted on TikTok a snippet of it when I was saying that people also need to deconstruct from other, toxic traits aside from just their faith.
Isn't that what I said? I said
Yeah.
I said that too.
Right.
Yes.
The patriarchy, homophobia, white supremacy, all of those things. And people on TikTok were pissed because
of course,
American Atheists retweeted my tweet. And there was some people who were members of that brigade who were not happy. This guy, his name is Justin. He even took screenshots and put them on Facebook saying, "This guy Baphomet is talking about white people."
Right? Is this the fat Dracula guy?
Yeah.
Fat Dracula. I've always look your cholesterol. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's just all I can think of with
They
that.
even involved Seth Andrews.
Of course they did.
Saying that, Seth Andrews is an apologist for the racist speech that Mandisa Thomas gave.
What does that make him? Is he an
convention.
apologist
Yeah,
for
it's
Christianity?
Like, what the fuck?
Even if you're a fucking white guy who like speaks up about this shit, they're like fucking poised to be like, oh, you're a white savior. Oh, you're a fake ally. You're just being performative. Like, perform
Nothing
this
is
dick,
ever gonna be
motherfucker.
good for them. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I've got privilege to burn. Like you said. Like,
Yeah, you do. As soon as I
like,
open my
fucking
mouth,
come
unless
at me. I don't give a shit. This shit costs me fucking nothing.
Oh yes, Mel.
Speak
The
up about it.
caucasity.
It costs me nothing other
Caucasity.
than like some clout from some white supremacists. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. Unfollow me.
I mean,
Yep.
to be fair,
Gift
you
card.
are blonde hair, blue eyed white boy.
Yeah. It's like,
Oh,
like I'm not on your fucking team by default.
Bath,
You
your
realize
eyes
that,
are so
right?
Beautiful. Come flutter your eyeballs at me again. Aw, they're so pretty. I'm not even gonna say anything mean. I'm not gonna say anything mean because I want to see what you think of. That's the fucked up part. Anyway, moving
Oh,
on.
Jesus.
This
is
is
going
your
off the
fault.
rails.
Well, anyway, when I was at the panel, I mentioned intersectionality as well. That
Yes.
we need to look at deconstruction also from the intersectionality lens. So Mandisa, my question to you would be like, how does intersectionality play a part in deconstruction or just in the secular community?
Oh boy! Wow.
That's a good
Here
question.
we go.
Heavy hitter right there.
Some
Yeah.
softball questions here.
So it is important that for people to understand that when you're coming from other, when you have other identities, right? So atheism is just one of them for me. I'm also a Black woman. And I also identify as pansexual, but that is but all of these things that have come along with having stigmas that come along with society, institutional factors and such. It's really, really important to understand how religion has played a part in really being a destructive force or even persecuting many of our identities. That's important to understand. So there are other layers to just simply walking away from religion and letting go of the God concept, because it has played such a role in it has played such a role in racism, in white supremacy, in economic injustice, and the rights of women, the rights of LGBTQ folks, and also other white people as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
No.
right. So
it's literally everyone.
Right. It is
everyone.
It's important, right? It is important to understand how again it can be more challenging, and also how our other identities really do they really do come together. But it's not just simply as someone just leaving religion behind and that's it. There are other, especially as we see the community is still largely white represented. And it doesn't mean that there aren't other folks out there. It's how they're able to get to, deconstruct, the challenges that are added onto that by those factors is very, very important for many of us to understand, and that we really are in this together, as we're supposed to be a community that values not just evidence-based premises, but also verification, listening to, and also compassion, right? We're not as dogmatic as and I just say that, all together. But when you let go of that dogma, then you should get a better understanding of what other people go through.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have this premise of saying, well, they're different, so I don't have to care about them, or I have to hate them because of that. Mm-hmm. So when you let go of that, or, as you deconstruct that, you should begin to better understand what other people go through. It should make you a more compassionate human being.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, there are still some who look at that very that very that this idea that, well, if you just simply either read the Bible or just read other books, that it's going to make you an atheist, and that isn't always true. And then once you leave, how do you deconstruct those other factors? Mm-hmm. How do you have a better understanding of how racism works, of how white supremacy works, and about how, and a big thing now is, climate justice and environmental justice. How does that play a part as well? So it's a lot. It's a lot to understand, and it's a lot to learn. And unfortunately, a lot of human beings are lazy. Many of us don't want to have to think about that.
Well, there's work that needs to be done.
Exactly. It's a part. It's that accountability.
We've got to get active. We need to start, activating ourselves. It's like
Mm-hmm. And even that part of, because when you've been conditioned all your life to think that there is a God that is going to come in and save us, that's a hard thing that's a hard thing to overcome. Mm-hmm. The idea that you actually have to do something about it.
Suddenly we have to get involved and get our hands dirty. What?
This is something that I have had issues with since I was young, is the whole princess in a tall tower getting rescued by the prince concept. And everyone's like, oh, that's a sexism thing. And I'm like, it is, but it's actually a Christian thing. And this is why, because we're just waiting for some God to come and save our asses while we sit there and do nothing. We'll just twiddle our thumbs and brush our hair and pretend that we're all perfect and follow whatever the hell else that we're supposed to do. It's anyway, it just gets into a whole other shitstorm. But
don't get me started.
I started. I need to stop.
I wanted to piggyback on what Mandisa said, so I don't lose my train of thought really quick. Is that a lot of people don't realize as well, when I guess especially as a white person in a religion, they don't realize that this religion is reinforcing these systems of oppression, right? That they're benefiting from, and once they lose their faith, they disassociate from that religious environment. They're still benefiting from those systems of oppression. So the moment that you start challenging that, they don't like that. They feel very uncomfortable. You start, shaking their foundation.
Hold on. Let me just
right
quick.
Yeah. And that's a lot to unpack as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
We'll go.
Yes. Especially these Christian beliefs have played a huge role in the disfranchisement of many Black folks and other people of color, and have benefited, the very, and there are a number of companies that got rich off of the slave trade.
Yep.
And so this
say no more.
Right.
No,
there are a
more.
number of companies, and then when the question, when the subject of reparations comes up, right? And that's a huge one. I'm glad I didn't put that in a slide. That probably would have pissed them off even more, though they felt like
that's a whole seminar. That's
right. It is.
Well, and it's still happening too. I mean, I don't want to drop any names, Nestle, but I'm just saying it's fucked up.
Right. And then of course in the slide, when I mentioned the lack of support for Black, Indigenous, other POC organizations, they just want your money. All of a sudden I'm this race grifter. I'm this person who's just simply trying to get money. And it's like, wow, way to miss the fucking point on
How
that.
convenient.
Right? So
how convenient that all these bricks I've thrown at you have missed entirely.
Right.
Congratulations, you can dodge very well.
Yeah, but there's a whole these are the institutional factors
Mhm.
that many and some even in our public in our education systems, people did not have the opportunity to learn about that. Sometimes you don't learn about it until you're at the college level.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's often a lot that comes at you, and and we have to think about that. And I don't fault people for what they didn't know,
Yeah.
right? I can't fault anyone for
course.
that, even though there are people who have had access to better education than others, which is something that I pointed out in the
that
talk
is
as well.
another other talk.
Right. It's a whole. I mean, we could talk about this all day.
We are triggering Nat. Nat is getting triggered.
Right.
When we start talking about education and environmental shit, I'm just like, I get
Mm.
all sorts of want to rip shit up and throw things at the wall.
Yeah.
But like it's not like it's more important. That's just like that's my activism
Right.
showing itself. But yeah, like I want to, oh God, I just want to tear down the entire education system and rebuild it. Like that is absolutely I want to rip it to shreds and I want to rebuild it entirely.
Right. And the one
But
thing that I am appreciative of is that my mother, I mean, we grew up, I'm from New York, I'm from the projects, I don't, like I said, I don't come from privilege, but the one thing that was important to my mother was education. And so she didn't necessarily depend on the public school system to entirely educate us.
that's good.
And so we were, I remember many days going to the library, going to other cultural centers and reading a lot. And sometimes you have to want to do that, especially in certain types of environments. It can be
Yeah.
very difficult, but I appreciate having that experience in my childhood to where the public school education and I appreciate the teachers that I had, especially in my public school, who were a lot of Black teachers. And there was an emphasis on Black history and culture
Nice.
in my public school.
Wow.
So I really do appreciate that. There is something about having, there's that having that experience was really, I appreciate that, because there are so many people who did not experience that until they got older.
Right.
So
I tried to do a presentation a while back, and one of the things that a while back, this was in school, we did a presentation on Martin Luther King Day, and I remember going online and finding pictures of, I don't know, a while back, fuck, like just ignore me. I remember I was doing a presentation and like I did like a PowerPoint, back when PowerPoint was just starting out and it was kind of cool. And I found some pictures of Martin Luther King that were color and I put them up there and everybody was like, oh, where'd you get them colorized? And I was like, all of our fucking books they don't have color, and they're saying it's because of money, but it's a lie, because if you look at the front of the page, they have a fucking artist that they just did and it's all colorful, but there are only white men on there, and there's no like anytime free.
mhm.
You know what? This is the fucked up part. George Washington's portrait that's painted, yeah, that shit's in color. A
Yep.
picture of Martin Luther King standing out front doing the "I Have a Dream" speech.
Black
That's in
and
black
white.
and white.
Mhm.
I'm just like,
Of
I'm
course.
sorry. We have had colored film since the early 40s. I want to say 30s even. We had colored film right towards the end of World War II. And I know for a fact all that shit was in color. Why is it in black and white? Don't tell me it's because they're saving money because the fucking words are in blue. Like, don't tell me. This is just all sorts of fucked up, and I get so mad about it, and then I ask questions, and then I get sent to the principal's office because I'm getting too excited and too, because so I'm not shitting you. I had what was called the wander pass. I'd finished my homework, and so I didn't distract other students. I had a pass that said my name can wander.
Wow.
And I would wear it on my neck and I'd walk around the school.
The fuck?
Because I had an agreement. My mother actually did this, and my mom did some things right, and she is still doing things wrong, and I've got to call her out on it, and that's fine. But like, we still had a decent relationship in some ways. She talked to some of my teachers, and she talked to everybody, and she's like, there's some kids out there that have ADHD. This is back when it was like, just starting out.
Boy, I wish.
Right. And they're like, right. And she got a few teachers to agree to have a classroom or like have a few teachers, like you can have the wander pass. You can go get a drink of water. You can go to the bathroom. You can wander into someone else's classroom, sit down, listen to what they're talking about, because it might not be what you're learning. And you just go and you just do things. But the thing is, I would get that was my reward for being a good student. But then that was what was taken away anytime I wore something that had like evolution on a shirt. So it was like,
wow.
What?
We have a comment that says, this reminds me of a sociology class I took in high school. I learned about how under a functionalist philosophy, racism and slavery is not viewed as a bad thing. Needless to say, I was disgusted.
Yeah, I would be fucking disgusted.
Thank you, Dan, for that.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Sorry, I do not have the controls to pop it up on the screen. When Dad Cool gets back, we will pop your name up and show off this
he's
lovely
pooping.
message.
That's what he's doing.
He's pooping. That makes sense.
Thanks for the visual. No.
It's better than the other day. He was live.
Captain Dad
he
poop.
like went and took a piss, and then like while he was live, I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm peeing. Ignore me."
Oh my
God! What the hell? You want to talk about audacity?
The caucasity.
The caucasity of this man.
Yes.
Right. I guarantee you Rachel's like listening to us right now and she's just like, fucking yes. By the way, Rachel, I'm really sorry. I didn't get to say goodbye to you before you guys left. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Oh yeah, they left. They just left.
They just fucking got up and left. And I was like, they're gone.
Rude.
I was so sad.
How rude.
Yeah, I got to drive T-Jump to the airport. That was a fun ride.
Oh.
He wanted to nitpick some of my conversation, and I was like, "Are you getting paid right now?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Then we are going to talk like friends."
Right. Right.
Because right now is not the time to do this. It's like, am I driving you to the airport for free? Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yes.
I love him. He's great. He's a good guy.
Oh, Courageous is saying they just left and spoke to no one.
Well, the Dadpool and Mrs. Dadpool were definitely overwhelmed with. They're not people-y people, so it's yes, right.
Oh, there he is.
Huh? What?
What?
How dare you?
I was saying that you and the missus aren't exactly people-y people, so that's why when you left, you kind of just like dipped.
Well, people need to understand that sometimes. I mean, these events can be a little overwhelming.
I just needed to use the bathroom, and then I decided to.
Told you. Captain Dad Poop.
Captain Dad Poop.
Love you.
Why is that so funny? It's because I've had 2 of these.
Sorry.
Like, why is this so funny? It's because I've been drinking.
We have a comment saying, as a black man, I absolutely love what Mandisa is doing. She is brave as fuck.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
It is very brave.
It is.
It definitely is.
It's not just brave, it's courageous. That's the big thing. It's showing it's like, and there's the difference between those words. There's being brave, but being courageous, being the one to step out there and put your name out with what you're speaking about is a huge difference.
Oh, thank you so much for the super chat, Dan.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Dan.
This reminds me of a sociology class I took in high school. I learned about how under a functionalist philosophy, racism and slavery is not viewed as a bad thing. Needless to say, I was disgusted.
This is like chime Jeff. Like I'm waiting for Jeff to just randomly pop in and be like, there it is. There's the Christian. Sorry.
It's interesting how
hey, dragons.
Slavery. It's interesting how slavery is considered Black history, but not white history.
Right. Oh, you know what? It's better, even better. Yeah, No, even better yet is it's considered history, and that's what bothers me is that it is still ongoing, and our definition of slavery has not ended, and I do mean that in the literal sense, not in like this new defined sense. like third world countries, not just third world countries, but some third world countries are still, I'm going to name drop again, Nestle. And 'cause I fucking hate that brand. You ever see me holding something owned by Nestle? I will. Hold on. Is this owned by Nestle? Do it. It's
That
this
condensed
Wanda
milk is so
product.
good, though. God damn it.
No, it's not. Go to
Yeah, I know,
Cadbury.
right?
It's so
And
much
these-
better. Yeah, like this is not Nestle, so that makes me happy.
Cadbury is better.
Cadbury is so much better.
Can confirm.
Did you just choke? Are you okay?
But I think also what makes it so horrendous is that
Yes.
this particular system of slavery in the United States
Mhm.
and the long-lasting effects that it has had, how it resulted in these racist classifications, how it resulted in how Black folks were treated for centuries, how it has resulted in so many, economic, not just imbalances, but so there is such a, and we talk about the very few at the top who got rich off of slave labor, and we can look throughout history to see that like slavery was a thing, and it's like you said, it still is. It's not a thing of the past.
Mm-mm.
And then also how it does permeate the criminal justice system as well.
Absolutely.
So, and again, these are things that a lot of people don't want to discuss. They just want to say, oh, well, how about we just talk about deconstructing God? Well, when you deconstruct God, you have to also talk about
Yep.
deconstructing the system of slavery and how that impacted millions of people, if not billions.
Right.
And that may not be a point that people are comfortable with, but hell, just like you had to get uncomfortable with deconstructing your beliefs, you got to get
Mhm.
uncomfortable deconstructing and learning about this too.
Thank you.
I like always saying, like, if I am in a comfortable position, I'm in the wrong place. The moment you're comfortable with something and there's other shit going on in the world, is the time
It's
to take a
like-
deep breath and jump head first back in as much as you can. Now, if it's mentally healthy for you to take a minute, be in that comfort zone, that's fine. But always know that there is always improvements to be made. Always something
Well,
to be learned.
it's like
Absolutely.
what Jeff said is, what if I've been wrong about this? What
Mhm.
else am I wrong about?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
You can't just deconstruct your religion. You have to deconstruct the worldview
Mhm.
that your prior religion helped to form.
Right.
Exactly.
Like you
Mhm.
can't just stop at, because there's too many fucking like atheists who think that because they're an atheist that automatically makes them a critical thinker or a free thinker
Yeah.
or whatever, when reality
Yep.
is no. Just because you left your religion, that doesn't make you a critical thinker. You have to keep going. There's more shit to do
Keep pushing.
beyond that. You can't
Always.
stop there. You have to keep going.
No, that is.
But
Mhm.
too many people refuse to do that.
It's just the beginning. And for me, it's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it opens your mind, or at least it should. It opens it to not just new ideas, but learning more. I'm the type of person who,
No.
I do like to experience as much as I can.
Excuse me.
And right,
It's
yeah,
all
that's it.
Sorry.
We didn't mean to interrupt you. It's just
No, right.
Be allergic to bullshit or something.
like you need to open your mind, not fucking close it and make it your own. That's not how
Right.
you do this.
Exactly. And it gives us an opportunity to not, and I really have an issue with some atheists who look down on like former, like simply look down on believers. I mean, there's a lot that needs to be said about the religion and the God concept and what it has done.
Mhm.
But I think it's important that many of us be careful that we just, we don't just start thumbing up our nose at the people who are coming behind us, especially if you were in that position. Because remember what it took for you to get out of it. And this is what we had in mind for, and even though I wasn't indoctrinated into religion, I was still indoctrinated. I was indoctrinated into the Black conscious community, which has its own sets of issues, and people watching who've ever grown up in it can be very, they can attest to this, right? So it's, it was very, very, like I said, I learned a lot about Black history and culture and such. Yeah, that's funny. But you also, there's still a lot of misogyny in a lot of these spaces. It's a good stepping stone for information, but some of it is still misinformation. And so you have to be very careful about some of the sources. And there are a lot of Black scholars over the years that don't get the credit that they deserve, especially in non-religious spaces, because we're so used to upholding the white voices.
Yep.
And this is what we bring to the table, that there have been folks doing this work for a long time. But yeah, when you think of, I'm not sure if you've ever encountered the Hebrew Israelites.
Yes.
Have y'all seen the Hebrew?
I've seen them.
Oh,
I
boy.
feel like I know what you're talking about,
So,
but
yeah,
I'm
tell
not
us.
entirely sure.
Ooh.
Do give us
Anyone
a
in the comments, please, if you've ever had your
Hold
experience,
on.
please.
Hebrew Israelites?
Yeah.
I feel like I have, and the only
Yeah.
reason why I say that is because I swear I've had somebody while I was going to
Black
church
Hebrew
tell me about them.
Israelites?
So
Yes,
it's a
you can,
Like it was like a church.
it's
It
a
was like my
religious
own
group.
church group wrote
Mhm.
ranting about them.
My understanding, if I'm not wrong, you can correct me, is that they believe that they're descendants from the tribes
12
of
tribes
Israel.
of Israel.
Oh,
Yes,
fuck,
yes.
I do remember this. I do. Okay, and the reason why is 'cause
Yes.
I was on a live
Oh.
once. Oh my god, yes, I was on a live on TikTok, and I had
Yep.
someone jump in and be like,
Oh.
"So, when are you going to address the fact that Black people have been in America longer than the Native Americans?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" Like,
Oh.
can we? I mean, it could be. We could have something here, but like where is your source? I want to know where you're coming from on this in this topic. They were
Right.
attacking me on this, and I was like, this is new information to me.
So there is
Like,
a book
entirely.
that came out years ago called They Came Before Columbus.
Right.
And I think the author was Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. So there is something that there is a point of reference that can be pointed to. Excuse me, but yeah, you have to it is very much something that could be researched, because people act like there was no research on the continent of Africa. And so I can understand where some of these folks in the conscious community comes from, because there has been we have to talk about anti-Blackness, and how being associated with being Black has been denigrated and degraded for so long that people don't think that the continent of Africa produced anything, right? So there is this want to get back to uncovering the history, because the black folks history doesn't just begin with slavery. And we were talking about how slavery is just considered Black history. I'm like, there's more to the Black community than just the enslavement in this country. And that is a part of the disservice that that our education system has perpetuated. That it's just simply that our history began with being captured from the continent, brought over here, and being enslaved, and then things happen. And it's like, no, there's so much more to it than that.
And the thing is, they say it's not studied, but here's the deal. Or they say it's not documented, but there is documentation. Anthropologists, sociologists, mostly anthropologists and archaeologists, are going back into Africa and finding these tribal boundaries and seeing when they've crossed, when they haven't, like where they've gone. Like it's where what the countries were before they were considered countries. Back when Africa was Africa, and there was a constantly moving border between different peoples. And it's a, oh god, it's just it's so immense right now. And the reason why people will say that it's not studied is simply because, where do we start? I mean, it is the history of these people. This is literally the oldest history of the peoples of the world. Where do you begin when you talk about this? I mean, it is amazing. And I'm not going to name drop anyone. I knew someone when I was in high school and college that came from Congo, spoke like 5-6 different languages, still lives in the Missouri area. I won't mention names. Good friend of mine. And he took me to visit his family on Easter. Mind you, I was trying very, very hard not to say anything because at that time I was, in the box of, I was in the closet. we'll put it that way. I was in the closet of Christianity. And while we were there, his family was telling me about where they were from. And I was like, well, he says that you're Congolese. And he's like, yes, well, we're Congolese, but we're also Zimbabwean. And I was like, okay. Like, did you come from there? And they're like, no. Like, we were there before Zimbabwe was Zimbabwe. And I was like, so what was it called back then? They're like, we don't know anymore. And I was like,
Damn.
that hit hard. Like, holy shit. I don't know why, but like that was a hard-hitting thing for someone to blatantly just brush off like, oh, we don't know what this is anymore. That's painful to be like, oh yeah, I'm from this place. Not that it doesn't exist anymore, because it exists, but it's not what it was. But we don't even have the goddamn name for it anymore. Like, we don't have the stories. The stories are gone. The people are gone. Well, they're not gone, but they've been so blended in that we can't. I'm gonna get emotional about this. This is where anthropology hits home. Like, it is a hard thing to talk about. And then like just talking with the family and just learning that like the civil war that was going on in Congo that had happened, like that had quote unquote ended like 5 years prior, and then like started up again. And I'm just like sitting here, I'm like, there's a war. Like this is white. This you have to remember, this is high school white.
We
girl.
have no idea. We
I don't
just have no
fucking
idea.
know. All I knew is like Africa is this place.
Right.
And I really wanted to go visit it because Egypt, like I am blatantly showing you guys how fucking I was like I was just not there. Like I was very much at face value as a kid. Like,
and you know what? It's interesting because sometimes I wish I could have been that. I wish I could have had that childhood where I didn't have to worry about a whole bunch of shit.
Right.
But unfortunately, that was not my reality, and that was not the reality of so many people. And we'd love to think that all kids just had this wonderful this wonderful upbringing where you didn't really have to learn about any of this shit until you got older. But and then when you look at kids in other countries and the shit that they go through and the things that they have to do to survive, I mean, just just even thinking about that for a number of people is hard. And because we want to think that many of us would have had like the same, we don't. And that's a part of coming into a community where you better understand that yes, evidence-based practices are good, but also lived experiences make a difference. Especially as we talk about becoming a more compassionate community.
And that is why we respect. That is why you have to initially respect those with beliefs, even if what they believe is harmful to you or in some way infringing on your own. You've got to meet them at the same level before. If they go down, you gotta stay up there, no matter how fucking hard it is. And it sucks. Oh, Bath, you were gonna say something.
So the other thing, and piggybacking on what she just said, I think it all comes down to empathy. Something that religion does not teach you, They don't teach you how to be empathic. They teach you how to be on this higher moral level, right? Oh, I will pray for you. I will convert you. You're going to go to hell, but you need to come to me. You need to come for salvation, right? I'm over here. You're over there. So there is that lack of empathy. And that's why it's so important to deconstruct that as well and to understand.
Yeah, it's very
listening to other people's experience.
Yeah, it's very manipulative. It's like a bait and switch.
Exactly.
Welcome you in with open arms, and then it's like once you get the fangs in, it's like, oh, it's something. It's not as empathetic as it can be very elitist and also just So yes, that you are absolutely right about that.
Right.
Yeah,
It's very hard to move forward if you don't have that and you're not open to listening to the people's experiences.
Yeah, there's a church I could throw a rock from here and hit it.
Do you?
And
Can
they,
you?
They have a massive.
The Rock will appreciate it. Sorry.
Probably. But they have a massive billboard in front of their church, and it's on a main highway, and it says, "Looking for family? Come to church here on Sunday." It doesn't exist anymore. What are you talking about?
He threw a rock, guys. He threw a rock.
It's like, who have I been throwing rocks at?
Nobody goes to it because they found it was bullshit. But
no, they don't hold services or anything.
Why are you doing this right now? I'm running a show. Why are you?
This is why we love Rachel.
Why are you doing this right now? Really? We're live. It's my wife.
It's just a building.
Hi, Rachel.
Well, no, it's a building, but they have a big banner on the building, and it's
Right.
like, "Are you looking for family?
Right.
Come to our church service on Sunday."
Sorry, this is side note. On my drive to Georgia, I counted how many billboards I came across.
Whoo!
Oh,
I was gonna take pictures, but there were too many.
Noah Legends was talking about that too recently, about his drive to the convention. Same thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
His
Yeah,
diatribe.
where were y'all driving down from or up from?
Southern Missouri. So I was in the Bible
that's where I
Belt the
live.
whole way.
That's where I live.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
I was from Springfield area to Nashville, down to Chattanooga, and then into Atlanta, and then I drove up
do you mean
into
hasn't been
Charlotte,
church for
and then
years?
I drove over through Knoxville, back to Nashville, and then around.
Mm.
So just leaving me. So I counted, and you know what? I didn't just count. Because I'm me, I categorized as to what the message was, what quote it was saying. And the thing is, I didn't get all the quotes. I just kind of ended up with which book they're discussing. and so there's the message, the book, and the source that they were using. I will say I saw 2 Planned Parenthood banners, and I was super happy about those. Very, very proud. They were both in Knoxville, of all places, both of them. Go figure. But I ended up with 115 messages from God that were the 1-800-truth things, know the truth things.
Yeah.
All within it. 25 of those were babies are people too. Bits. I had 30 that were individualized church I guess advertisements, come join our church type of thing. I did not keep track of those. And each of those had a fucking quote, most of them for John. I don't know, fucking family shit. I don't know. And then I had, let's see here. And then, the anti-abortion ones that had no sources or anything. It was just a baby's heart begins at 18 days, or something really, really dark and ominous. Would you kill a child? And it's just a black billboard with white lighting. I had 90 of those. 90.
Holy shit.
I know. Okay, so
I didn't even get that.
I didn't do the goddamn math yet, but that's over 200 billboards of some sort of Christian shit on my way down, and that was in a 10-hour drive. That means I saw one every 2 minutes almost.
Did you see any of them that were right by an adult superstore sign?
Yes, yes, yeah. I did. Oh my God, that's so crazy. I'm so sorry. That was really loud. Yes. Oh my God. And no, so one was ask and ye shall find, and the next billboard was XXX, down,
yeah.
And then the one after that was looking for the truth? Question mark. And I was
oh, I'm seeking and I'm a finding.
Was there a sign that said "Let him come inside you," and You didn't know which one it was? Was it the sex shop or was it
I don't know. It's like,
Jesus?
come inside. Come inside. What? Where? What?
He's been edging for the past 2,000 years. Will you
Oh
let
yeah,
him
and
come in?
the stores that are named Adam and
Fucking
Eve,
blue balls, man.
like
Yes.
Yeah, Glory Hole Studios. Shout out, everyone. Oh,
Glory
there we go.
hole. I'm so sorry I brought this up. I didn't mean to. I didn't know when to talk about this. I just figured I would because we mentioned the con. But like this was fucking ridiculous. Like the sheer number of these little shits that they aren't little, they're very large. Oh, and one was like the entire side of a building in Nashville. Like like it wasn't like just a drape. It was painted on there.
Flood.
He's gonna send a different kind of flood. Oh fuck. Jesus touched me.
And on the seventh day, God sent.
And on the seventh day, God created Natty Nat. From which all things are questioned.
God damn it. I'm sorry, Mandisa. I tried to warn you.
Hey, you're good. we're in good company here.
What? That's how
Good.
much they pay for them? $700 to $14,000 of tax-free money for
Holy
those
shit.
billboards per month.
Yep.
So that's why billboard people are like, yeah, churches, come check out this shit. Oh, and one was really great. And it was just outside of this little town in Missouri, but it was like a flashing like LED sign. The church's name is Courageous. That is the name of the church is Courageous, whatever it is. And it has like a little asterisk. Okay, I'm not even going to lie. I have been seeing this little orange asterisk all over town, thinking that it was like anti-drug asterisk thing, right? Found out. No, it is the fucking logo of this church. Did not realize that. It's the Courageous Church. Come to this church if you need courage. Like, the fuck? Yeah, Courageous. You got a church. It's get on 60 and head towards Rogersville. I promise you, you'll see it.
God.
They didn't ask for my permission. They spell it with C though. It's I don't even. I'm sorry. I had to spill these because there were so many. There were so fucking many. And I started by taking photos, and then I realized I'm not going to be able to have my phone up the whole time I'm driving. Let's talk about something else.
Anyway,
let's a little less. I'm sorry. I definitely went off on our.
Were you gonna say something, Rick?
Yeah, I don't even know how to phrase this, and I hope it doesn't sound terrible.
Uh-oh.
I've been drinking, so my filter is gone.
Oh, same.
So here we are. I want to talk about the nomination of Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
And because I'm reading Andrew Seidel's book on how the Supreme Court was weaponized by the religious right. So that's what's forefront on my mind. And I can't stop thinking about where what's his, not Ted Cruz.
Probably the turtle motherfucker. What's his face?
Yeah, no, not
turtle motherfucker.
Not him.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know,
he was like, how important is your faith?
Oh,
This
Mitch
how,
McConnell, was that McConnell?
Mitch McConnell? No, not
That's
Mitch McConnell.
That's the turtle
the
motherfucker.
turtle
One.
That's the turtle
he is a
motherfucker.
turtle.
Ted Cruz?
believe-
No,
Not Ted Cruz.
not Ted Cruz.
It's the other one.
The other one. Not Sarah Palin,
Lindsey
but she'll
Graham?
be in the news soon.
Lindsey Graham. Yes,
Lindsey
Lindsey
Graham.
Graham. Thank you. But he was like, yeah, like how important is your faith? How often do you read your Bible? Like how much do you go to church? And what killed me is like that's white supremacy language, because back in the day, if you were a slave, you were forced to go to church by your slave master.
Oh yeah.
So for him to come on and be like, how often do you go to church? How important is your faith? That just was, to me, was like, you're tapping into your ancestors right now.
And
you may not even realize it.
Right. What, interestingly enough, when the president, presented her, she actually said that she got this far by her faith. So she already professed her, her religious faith. But the whole point was that, that line of questioning, for one, definitely does violate church-state separation. But also, it's the fact that, well, yeah, even though it was very, it was a little disconcerting that, yeah, sure. It's expected, she's a Black woman, she's very accomplished. Yeah, she's religious. But does that mean that she cannot be fair in her, in her decision making? Like, how often did y'all, did y'all ask Justice Kavanaugh, especially when he was, when those women came forward with those assault allegations?
And he was just I like beer. I really like beer, you guys.
Yeah, no.
But women are too emotional.
I am glad she was confirmed. This was very, this is history making.
Necessary.
It was necessary. Unfortunately, the other Supreme Court justice, we try not to claim him, but but at the same time, yes, this was very historic. But yeah, it was very interesting the way they, how very condescending they were.
God, no, I mean, it's like, can they be just a little more aggressive?
Right.
Let's
but then you would have, well, we would do that to anybody, right? It doesn't matter whether she was a Black woman. We would have done that to anyone. No, you wouldn't have.
But the thing is, we have fucking receipts.
Right.
Who was the last person that was nominated to Supreme Court? And the same guy, Lindsey Graham, was like, you play piano?
Oh, wow.
You like to play piano?
Exactly.
Oh, that's really nice.
Was it that Amy Coney Barrett?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my goodness.
That's who it was. He was like, oh, you like to play piano for your church. That's real nice. But when it came to Ketanji Brown Jackson, he's like, how important do you Bible good? Huh?
that face they made just.
I can't help but see it. I'm sorry. I can't help but see the bullshit.
Do you Bible good?
Do you Bible good, mother?
This is one of those moments where I'm like,
Jesus.
Could CNN just like hire Chappelle to come on and like narrate what the fuck was happening the whole time? I would paid money to watch him narrate like I don't know, almost like sign language, but just like for the common people, what the fuck is happening right now?
Michael Key, didn't he do that with Obama?
He did, yeah. The anger.
Yes, that was
anger.
He was Luther. He was his
fucking. And he did it. Yeah, and he did it at the actual convention.
So like fucking good.
Yes.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Did you see?
Was that the SNL skit?
Well, not an
on
SNL skit. No, it was
I'm thinking
so
something
Key and
that
Michael
was on,
Key and
Peele. That was on their show.
Mm-hmm. But not only that, is Obama actually had him come on for a presidential dinner.
Night Dragons.
Final
Yes,
year
thanks for
that he
joining
was in. And he brought Key and Michael Key up to be
so
Luther.
Good.
And they were telling him, it's like, okay, so you can bounce around, but you can't touch him. And then you can do this and that, but you're not supposed to do this. And they were just like see, he did an interview talking about like all the bits. Yeah, Key and Peele are gods.
Yeah, it sounds like this.
Also, can we talk about how like fucking Peele is like an amazing writer and director? Just side note. Just like,
focus, Nat. Focus.
Focusing. I'm sorry, ADHD, and I've had liquor. No, but like he had to sit in and do like a 3-hour meeting with the I was about to say Social Security, Secret Service.
Social Security.
The Secret Social Service Security.
The Secret Service about what he could and couldn't do while behind the president. and they had to like discuss different things and these are different scenarios that could happen. And he was like, so some of these I can't actually talk about, but like if Obama was to like be assassinated, I, being in front of the president, would not be spared. Like they had to tell him that. And it was like all these other little tidbits, like, oh my God.
It's crazy shit.
But like I love that I love that became a thing.
I remember when I
great.
used to work at the centers, the CDC. I was a contractor, but there was one day that President Obama had to come to the facility, and you had to have a certain type of clearance in order to be there. Most of us had the day off because we couldn't even be there while he was there.
Really?
And so, yeah, you had to have a certain level of clearance, especially at that facility. So I can imagine that they had to have all of those protocols for him and being the president.
It's just really fascinating. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him coming to speak while I was in school, and we we knew where he was going to speak, so we camped out in front of, like, I was like second in line, and I straight up, this is the only time I've ever like camped out for something, but like I straight up pitched a tent right outside the fucking gymnasium, so that I would be one of the first people to get in, so I could shake Obama's hand. I was so excited, like I was all sorts of giddy. And when they went to open the doors, they were just like, "You first 10, you've been out here all night. Come on in. We're gonna put you behind him on stage." And I was like, like just
damn,
gasp. It was so proud. Just a proud moment. Anyway, I got distracted. In the name of Jesus, what?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know how to send you the link. I would.
So I had a question
the ladies in church, and they fight Satan with their prayers.
I had a question regarding the overarching topic,
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
What would you say are some ways that we can be good allies to non-believers of color?
Yeah, so the first thing is definitely listening and understanding perspectives, not over talking people, especially when we're speaking, asking thoughtful questions, and having some really good objective dialogue, because we love that. We absolutely love to have measured discussions just like everyone else. We just don't like to be patronized. We don't like to feel like, well, like we're not just being taken for granted, but like we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Or that, like you said, that moral high or that intellectual high ground. And better platforming more people of color. And this is something that we didn't wait for the secular community to do, because now, in addition to producing our own events, in addition to having our own organization, we do produce our own events, right? We have the Women of Color Beyond Belief Conference that we do. We have the cruise convention that we do, BNC Con. So, and we elevate and amplify those people of color, especially from the Black atheist demographic. And there is a lot out there. And I think having some good cross collaborations is going to be really, really important, especially as our movement grows. So if I think there are some Black atheist TikTokers. I'm not sure. And I can't say that all of them are, I'm not on TikTok that much. So, I can't say that everyone does good content there, but if you know that they do, then please invite, work with them on some things.
Everyday Atheist was just on the AXP today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I think it's very important to, to highlight those voices and to continue to bring them out, and not just that, encourage people to support their platforms.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be very, very important. So that's because in that way, it's not taking anything away from what you do. It actually helps you, to help platform more people. So, and that does give a sense of credibility that you are genuine about what you're doing. So, I mean, can I just say that
Tyler, I've promoted your shit
We love you, Tyler.
so many times.
Hi.
I'm sorry it doesn't always work. TikTok's weird about that shit.
It is.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
think that those are a few things that can definitely be done. They're very practical. They may seem hard to do, but the main thing is to be consistent with it. You know, that's
Totally.
the main thing for me, is to continue to do it. That really makes a difference.
It is such a pain sometimes when we're on TikTok, and it's like, you know, that there are some amazing colored creators that are like, just, I mean, there's some Native American creators that just automatically get shut down. Like, I have a habit of following a lot of indigenous peoples that's like all over the place because of what I talk about. And like, I will just not see them, and they're like, yeah, we're posting content all the time, and I'm just not seeing them on my For You page, and I just get, it's really fucking irritating.
Well, this platform doesn't push out the content.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, it has actually done really well this past week, but I think it's because I've been around all you guys and like fit, like not just like our physical presence around each other, but like we've all been kind of tagging each other back and forth. So like the more we do that, the more we're going to be able to be a little more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. That was I didn't know how to say, like,
It's absolutely
BIPOC.
true that like people of color or content creators or of color have to work harder
Yeah.
than like guys like I got a very large following by accident, honestly. And that's because I'm a decent looking white guy. Let's be honest. That's just what it is. But
It's
there
the
are people
hair.
of color who have a very powerful message, but they don't get as much exposure as I do. Why is that? Well, I can tell you why. It's because the algorithm doesn't favor them the way it does me for some reason. And I don't know like the inner workings of the TikTok's algorithm, but
a whole bunch of magic as far as I'm concerned. I
like
don't
it's
fucking
very
understand it.
obvious that like I made almost no effort in getting the following that I have, but I see like people of color busting their fucking ass to try and grow their brand, and they can't. Because why? So why was it so easy for me to do that, but they have such a hard time? Well,
Mhm.
reasons. That's why.
Have you been banned yet, sir?
I've only been banned once.
Motherfucker.
Yeah. One time because I went after Islam because I had the audacity to hold on. I have a puppy.
Oh, what a
I'm in the
baby.
middle
What
of
is this
something.
nonsense? I had the
Can you-
audacity and a puppy shows up.
What a
This
baby.
is white privilege right here at
I
its
am-
finest, okay, folks? He can just be in trouble, but like, you know, bring a
Go
puppy
lay
on
down.
and
I
he's
know you
I
want
fine.
love your
attention. I'm sorry.
dog. Oh.
Go lay down.
No. At least you
I'll take
guys
you for a
get
walk
banned
in the
for
morning.
like
Go away.
doing something. I got banned because of a fucking rock. It was a dangerous act, apparently, throwing rocks.
Were
Who
you
knew?
playing rock?
I was
As a matter of fact, the video that I made, because I made that that YouTube video reacting to Silverman's 12-minute rant.
yeah.
I took like 3 minutes or 2 minutes of that and like made it into a TikTok. That got banned.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, within like 3 minutes of me posting it, it was taken down
I did
For-
have I
for
did have it.
bullying and harassment.
Really?
Like, yeah, I was bullying the
What a
motherfucker. I'm not
bully.
going to deny that at all.
One
was-
of the
yeah.
videos I had of your speech did get reviewed. It wasn't
Oh,
banned, but it was
really?
reviewed. But like as soon as it was done reviewing, it went up. But like, I mean, it only got like 600 views. I don't know. I'm boring. Nobody likes my shit. It's fine. Yeah. No, it wasn't the Turtle Rock. I don't. That dude still has a page, and he's still being an
Is
asshole.
he still doing that?
He's still fucking doing that. Yeah.
Holy
like there's.
shit.
It's. I think it's called like Little Giblet.
He's
like
really
the-
milking that for all it's worth, isn't he?
My.
Anyway, that's a whole other thing.
Oh
We
my
don't need to
fuck,
go
he
into
is.
it.
That's a whole other. Anyway.
TikTok's a weird place. Let's just
a
just
very
leave it
weird
at
This
that.
is very interesting. I'm learning a lot.
No, no, the fuck you
That's
aren't.
good.
I am being harassed by a man with a rock that he dubs a turtle. That is my enemy on TikTok, and I don't fucking know why.
Because Nat's she's a professional geoarchaeologist. So this guy like found a rock that he claims was a fossilized turtle or something,
He
and she
says
was
it's
like,
a fossilized baby
"No,
turtle,"
it's-"
and I'm just like, no,
He's like,
it's a
yeah,
coral.
she's like, "No,
like
it's not.
it's a type of
It's not."
and he is just like, no, it's a fucking turtle. Bah. And like everybody's
Anyway,
this is why are we bringing this up? Like Nat already can't focus right now. Why are we bringing this up?
we're all pretty well into our respective bottles at this point.
My bottle is gone.
So anything goes. So
My
Mandisa,
meat is gone.
Yes.
at this point, the last segment of the show, we like to
Nerd out.
diverge a little bit from the main topic and loosen up a little bit. What is something you nerd out about? Like, do you like comic books? Is there a certain
Do you
TV
collect
show
things?
you really like? Like,
Are you a
and it can
travel
be
person?
anything. Just
Oh my gosh.
what is it?
What do I know?
Are you an avid reader?
about?
Is there a specific thing you do?
I used to read like I wouldn't say religiously, but I used to as a kid. I read
love it.
Pun intended.
But
Yes.
I nerd out on music. I am such a music head.
Oh, what kind of music?
This is a new one for me. I am not a music nerd. I want to hear about this.
Right. So I do love jazz. I do love rap. And I'm a hip hop head.
Smooth.
A hip hop head.
Speaking of
love
which,
that word.
I have a friend. His name he goes by J Crum, CRUM, J Crum. He is a non-believer. We interviewed him in our podcast. He is fantastic. You should check him out.
Nice.
He's a rapper. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Right. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That sounds
on our podcast, the Burning Eden podcast. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's the shameless plug. There it was.
Listen. You get her tomorrow. All right. She's coming on the show tomorrow. All right. Fuck off.
No. Now is the time.
Now
is the time for her to
quit
give all of
stealing
her.
my thunder.
She gets to shamelessly plug herself and all of her fucking favorite artists. Let her have it.
So right now, my favorite artists that I listen to repeatedly are Moonchild, which is they are a very neo soul. They are white, but they are now you want to talk about woke. They are, I mean, their first, not only is their music fantastic, but they are very, very socially conscious. That is where when I use the phrase spend your privilege, that is the group that I got it from. And they are very, very big.
Oh yeah. You talked about them at your
talk. They are very, oh my gosh, they are amazing. I went to their show in Birmingham a couple of days before I came back to Atlanta to the convention. I'm also listening to Thundercat.
Yes.
A lot. Thundercat is really, really dope.
Is this the one?
No, Moonchild.
Moonchild, not Mono.
I typed in Moonchild, and that's what came up. Moonchild?
No,
there's another type of type in a capital M.
You type. I mean, those are songs. You got to look for the artist.
Yes, for the artist.
Okay, scroll down.
There we go. Wait.
Scroll down.
There we go. This is Moonchild. That's
Iron Maiden.
It's Iron Maiden.
Okay, so you have Moonchild Radio. No, not that.
Click on the radio.
Artist.
Maybe it'll be there. Oh, there's artist. Yes.
Go down.
This is Moonchild.
There it is.
There you go. There.
Final answer.
Yep, that's
there. They are. There's that red hair.
I highly recommend checking out their music.
I'm gonna follow them right now.
Yeah, Cure is the song that got me. That was the song that got me hooked on them. Yes.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add that to my gym playlist.
Yeah, I would definitely check out all of their music there. They are amazing. Yes, Moonchild, Thundercat, Tyler the Creator.
I love Tyler.
I am big on Tyler the Creator. And I am an old school hip hop fan, like A Tribe Called Quest, who we affectionately call Tribe, is one of my favorite rap groups of all time. I'm not sure how I'm dating myself. I'm 45, but I'm a proud Gen Xer. So, we grew up on the greats, Run DMC,
Oh
the
yeah.
Beastie Boys and
Oh,
LL, all of
I
those
was
great,
born in the
all
wrong
of those hip hop
generation.
artists. And
I used to
and
listen to them in gym class in elementary school.
yeah, and so I could go on music binges like for a long time.
Nice.
And I think that music really connects us. It really does.
Oh yes.
And so I
It's a
think,
universal language. It
yeah,
really
it
is.
is. It is a music, and then having been classically trained as a singer, that's also another. I'm a graduate of the High School of Music
What?
and Art and Performing
Are
Arts
you?
in New York
Holy
What?
City.
shit.
Yes.
Will you?
That's awesome.
Will you sing
Yeah.
for us?
Do I have to right now? No.
You don't have to.
One
You don't
day,
have to.
privately, I must have a song.
But
Please.
I figured I'd,
Please.
risk it.
I will at some point, but I
Okay,
don't
that's
think I'm
fine.
really.
She's
I'm
not.
looking
She
forward
hasn't
to it.
warmed up her vocals.
Right,
Her
yeah.
chords are not ready to go. She's
And
not
I am
ready
a
to
part
perform.
of the Godless Gospel Project that is being put on by the Freedom from Religion Foundation, which is looking for more singers.
There's a what
So,
now?
Godless gospel?
yeah, Godless
Hold on.
Gospel.
I
What
think
is
you love
this?
God
this.
damn.
Yeah.
I feel so disconnected.
Yeah, but see, when you have a certain person saying I'm not doing any work, this was a direct result of Dan Barker, who is a classic, who is a musician, an accomplished musician, reaching out to me about this project and working
How did
with
I
me
not
to
know this
develop
about
it.
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, and as a matter of fact, he was a Christian artist. I mean, I think he still collects
Oh my
royalties
God, I'm
from the
so
Christian music
behind.
that he makes. So, and this is the
Amazing.
point of what we do, right? We help educate each other on stuff in this movement that you may not have known before.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the Godless Gospel project
this
that we're
is-
working on, and
This is brilliant.
yeah,
Oh
and
God.
I
This is
always
so cool.
okay. So whenever someone asks me, like in the car, you're driving with somebody, like, what kind of music do you listen to? You want to know my answer every time is anything but gospel. That's always my answer. Anything but gospel. And now I'm not going to be able to say
Yeah.
that anymore
I actually can
because I'm
appreciate
going to
gospel.
find something.
this is gonna be history making. I am looking forward to it because
I am
the
intrigued.
music sounds
Really?
fabulous. Like the
I am
artistic
intrigued.
producer is one of our members, and he's a former gospel artist. So,
Was there anyone at the
Wow.
convention that like we might have met that's also a part of this?
yes, Denial, who is our Washington D.C. affiliate. He
Yeah.
went by Roe. Yes,
Oh my
he's a part
gosh.
of this as well. He's one of the singers.
you
for
know-
it, too.
Do you know Bar? Black Atheist Rants?
I've heard of him. Yes, I think we.
I
follow
think
each
he
other
just
on
released
Twitter.
an album or something. I
No
would
shit.
love
I
for
did
you
not
two to
realize that.
connect.
Well, of course,
Wow.
there's Great and Square,
Mhm.
who is, of course, one of the most iconic hip hop Black atheist, Black atheist hip hop artists. I highly recommend y'all checking out his music too, if y'all have never heard of him.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Graydon Square, and there are some
Graydon
people in here
Square?
who might know. Yeah, Graydon, Greydon Square. His music might be on Spotify as well. So I do recommend checking out his music too.
Oh, I think so. Hold
You know
on.
who I really wish had made it to the convention? It's Jenna. I think.
Oh, Jenna Miu. She's going to be on the cruise.
Is this the one?
I have been
She's gonna be
wanting to
speaking on
meet
the
her in
cruise. Yes.
person for
Great and Square. Yes.
ages.
That's him?
For
Yep.
ages.
That is him. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Well, I need to
All
message
right.
her then and let her know that I am intrigued about the cruise and see if.
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing is, as an environmentalist, I fucking hate cruises, and I will admit that out loud to you.
Yeah, I know.
But-
Definitely. I know for some people we try to be. It is a really good travel experience, though. I mean, I do love cruises.
That's the worst part is like you'll enjoy yourself, and that's what makes me so sad. Is like I
Yeah.
know I know
Right.
I'll enjoy myself. That's not
Right.
that's not the problem here. It's the guilt I feel from like wasting
Understood, but
so
I mean,
much
you
shit.
know,
Yeah.
we're not perfect.
You got to
And
cut loose every now and then.
yeah, I understand, and that's the thing, right? We can acknowledge, the parts that we know can be pretty harmful, but understanding that, yeah, there are some there's some things that you might be like, oh, I don't like it, but yeah, we still got
I already
Yeah,
do this a
like
lot.
the whole eating babies thing.
right.
Like we know it's wrong, but at the same
I
time,
mean, it's so
so good.
It's so good.
I know.
It's what
But if if you don't want to feel guilty, we are also planning on having her at the Women of Color Beyond Belief conference too, which is open to everyone. So and it will be live streamed. So if you'd like to, if you can't make it in person in Chicago, you can register to stream it live.
Can you drop
on...
some dates for these things so that
Absolutely.
we can
So
have them?
The information is so Women of Color Beyond Belief will take place from September 30th through October 2nd in Chicago.
Okay.
Most of our admission does include like food. So we do try to make sure that, and we try to keep that in mind for attendees. I saw a question. Am I confused with the Christian singer? People have asked me, have I been, am I, Mandisa, the gospel singer, who has actually come under fire. She came under fire years ago for making homophobic comments. So yeah, I do remember that about her. I mean, I know she's an amazing singer, but no, I'm still waiting for somebody to to put together that Mandisa the Christian with Mandisa the atheist. So that would be very interesting. But getting back to, I digress. Yes, so Women of Color Beyond Belief is from September 30th through October 2nd. And BNC Con is from November 26th through December 3rd. We have a pre-cruise event on the 26th of November, and we sail on November 27th. So just keeping that in mind. And all of that information can be found on our website at blacknonbelievers.org. You can be linked to both events and register for those of you who are interested.
All right. Thank you
did you
so
mean
much.
did you mean that? Hold on, not very fast. Did you mean this?
No.
Oh no, that's not the wrong. God damn it! I'm so bad.
If you go to Black Nonbelievers,
it's the one where she's on the freaking cover of it.
Oh my god!
Just click that one. Click
home.
Click the logo.
Well, you know
events.
What?
You could click on events. Click on events there.
Just go to blacknonbelievers.org and you will find all of those events on the website.
CCon?
CCon.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
I will throw up if I go to that.
I won't. I fucking love being on the ocean.
I've never been on a cruise.
I've never
go on a cruise though.
No.
Yes.
How many people do you normally have on this? Like,
there's anywhere between like 35 and 40 people. I mean, I think last year we had it was about 25 of us, coming from the pandemic. But yeah, we always have an amazing time. We're hoping to get more folks.
Look at the
this
towel.
year.
Is that an elephant?
It's an elephant.
Yes.
Go back. Is that a towel?
Yes.
Towel?
Well, now I gotta go.
Bath, you want to go with me? Can we go together?
For the towels, yeah.
I get past that towel.
I'm going just for the towels, motherfucker. Look at that. That is art.
It is.
Anyway, moving right along.
Wait, so where's the cruise going to? I'm sorry. I've only heard
the
cruise.
We're going to Honduras.
Oh.
Belize. Those are my sons, by the way. That's Isaiah and Miles.
Bring in the family.
They're bigger now, and they used to love going with me places, and now they're like, they're teenagers, so they're just like whatever. Yeah. But yes, Honduras, Belize, and Cozumel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's when we went to hell on Grand Cayman. That was awesome. Grand Cayman Island has a little town called Hell. So
no shit.
Hell, yeah.
We went to hell. It's great.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Go to hell.
Go to hell. I did.
Oh,
It was
I'll
beautiful.
meet you
There
there.
was a huge sign that said "Welcome to Hell" and Hell's only post office. That was awesome.
That's
That's
awesome.
fucking cool.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yes,
Oh, let's
yes.
take a picture.
We have
Oh,
a
that's
really,
great
really
photography.
good time. And as you can see, we incorporate, the fun with the information and the education, and just we have a really, really amazing time. It is just so
Does hell have snow cones?
right.
It looks like you'll have
It
Very
was
important.
kind of hot as hell too when we went down there. So
Oh, I believe
it was hot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, we need to wrap things
Oh.
up here.
Fucking cool.
I'm getting tired.
Okay, yeah,
Thank
we've
you
got to wrap up.
so
It was
fucking
so
much.
nice having you. I'm so sorry that I got tipsy. I
I'm not
apologize for
sorry
that.
I got tipsy. It's part of the fun.
It is part of the fun.
Well, thank you so much, Mandisa, for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
This
no
was
problem.
very fun.
Yes, thank y'all once again for having me. I really appreciate it. Is so good to see y'all again and to talk with y'all again, especially on this platform.
We need to do this more than just once a year.
Yes.
That's the thing
Yeah,
that
right.
needs to happen.
Yes, and there are many other conventions and conferences. I encourage you to check them out, of course, including ours. Shameless plug, but
Not shameless.
I
This
think
is
it's,
your platform.
thank
Have at
This is
it.
the
you.
time to do
So,
it.
yeah, I think it's really hopefully, and I said this in the talk too, that this is just a starting point for people that when you come to one convention, you may want to come to more, and hopefully just,
Dude.
including, incorporating your platforms and in us working together on different events and such. I think this is just so great. And this has been one of the most rewarding parts of being in this community for 11 years. All of the people that I've had the opportunity to meet and to come to know and love. And for me, that's more than just a numbers game. It means so much more than that.
I mean, maybe now you'll get over 6,700 followers on Twitter.
Yeah, certainly. Yes, please.
Why you got to keep bringing that up? It's
How
a little
hard
bit
are
of
you
a hurtful
possibly
subject,
working?
okay? That's a little tender.
God
A
damn
little
it.
too soon. A little too soon.
Fucking nerve of this guy. Oh my god.
The,
It's
the,
almost like
the
there's not a lot
caucasity of
anyway.
this
The
fucker.
caucasity.
Bath, Mandisa, we do tend to do a little bit of an after show hangout. If you're down for it, if you're not, don't worry about it. It's on Discord. I guarantee you, Captain's calling it quits tonight.
Yeah,
this is
I'm
more
dipping
for
out.
our viewers.
Right.
If they want to ask any questions, they can. But it's totally up to you. I'm gonna hop over there and be present for like 20 more minutes, and then I'm gonna back out. But that's
Okay. Yeah, just send me the link. I'll come in for a few minutes.
I
Very
will
cool.
throw it onto the private chat real quick.
Well, I
and
gotta
then
go to a party.
you're gonna go party hardy.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Oh, because you have an actual job.
I
You
do.
that's
gotta go
right.
in the morning 'cause
Oh no, how terrible.
you help people not die, right?
Yeah.
That's
Oh
what you
no,
do.
how
you can't
absolutely
spare a few minutes.
horrible. How the fuck do I?
Well, I wanted
invite
to say
people?
thank you guys. I really appreciate you having me here today. This is fantastic, and
stop.
I'm happy to
No, it's not.
come back anytime. Okay. Can I do a shameless plug really quick?
Absolutely.
Fine. Well, for those of you who don't,
We'll
know,
do it live.
My
We'll stay live.
friend Mel and myself, we have a podcast called the Burning Eden Podcast. Burning Eden, Eden. You can find it everywhere. Just Google Burning Eden Podcast. It is fantastic. It's personal stories and blasphemy, pretty much.
Awesome. And before we go, I'd like to give a shout out to Kevon Cameron, who was also at the convention.
Yes.
He's our New York City affiliate organizer, and he is the primary host for our show In the Cut, which is on our YouTube channel that we started this year. And we interview special guests, and we also let people know about what's going on in the BN community and within the organization. And so, yeah, I'd love to, if you have never checked us out, you can go to BN's YouTube channel and under Black Nonbelievers Inc. and check out previous episodes. So thank you.
Oh God.
Awesome.
I don't think I can.
You guys are awesome. Mandisa, you're amazing.
Thank you guys.
Thank
And
you.
I'll talk to you later, Mandisa.
Yes.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
we'll listen in whenever it's done.
All right. Well,
Good night,
again,
everyone.
as everyone knows, I'm really
Mwah.
bad at ending shows, so I'm just going to end it. And
Okay,
y'all have a
bye.
great night.
Okay, bye.